See if this comes online. I'm in the new studio as well, so it doesn't look different from your end. But this is
No.
a new room, and
Oh,
baby's
you
room is there.
built a new room, huh?
Oh, not built, but just this was like a spare room.
Ah, okay. So you've moved your office into that, and your old office is the baby room.
The old office now has a cot, about 100 little jumpsuits.
Yeah, not far now, mate. Not far now. What, you got a
Yeah.
month?
No, no, like next week.
Next week. Fuck. Wow. So any day now, really.
Yeah. Oh, awesome. We got heaps of people tuning in already. Bang. G'day, Graham. G'day, John.
We're live now, are we?
We are live. Just waiting for a few more people to tune in, but it's all coming through nicely. Let us know what other coins you want us to look at as well today, guys. I think EOS is probably the best performer, Cobb. We're going to look at all that, aren't we?
Yep.
But in the top 10 or 20.
EOS had a 20% day yesterday, and it's up like 9% now, and we're only 1 hour into the trading day.
Yeah. And I'll just put this up on screen while we let people tune in. They'll see the chart on my end. Other than that, I think everything's green. It's always great when you scroll down that list and you see a little bit of red and it's like one of the stable coins.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I was looking at true US dollar against Bitcoin because it just, like I said it to on my scan last week, that it just looks as though, as much as there wasn't a trade there for me, I said, look at it, because the inverse of Bitcoin against the dollar really looked a little bit different, but pretty much the same. I'm like, it really looks like it could have a strong fall from here. I'm like, I've seen this before. There's no trade here, but the way that this is looking and setting up over the whole chart, I'm like, got it. So there's no trade, but it really looks like it could be setting up for a decent fall, which would mean Bitcoin going up. And again, I talked about it this morning because it's like sometimes you'll see things in the market that you don't necessarily trade because there's not a strategy there, but you just start to pick up on things, and
Yeah.
and that's one of those things that you pick up on after just staring at charts for freaking 13 years.
G'day,
Um,
Captain Risky.
it was good.
G'day, John. We've got nearly 100 tuning in, Cobb. It's always
Cool.
good. G'day, Brett. It's always good to see this green candle just bring everyone back to life and back to social media. So, g'day, Eosphere, friends of the channel. Well done to EOS being the best performer. But I think you want to start us off, Cobb, and share your screen and go over the top 10, and then we might take a few coins from the crowd. But thanks for tuning in, guys.
Sure, I'll dive in and have a quick squiz at this.
And we're going to whip through them all, guys. Then I'm going to talk about what I'm seeing. Craig's going to talk about what he's seeing.
All right, so starting with Bitcoin, of course, we've got this is a pullback in. We had that big buying on Friday, that Friday week, pull back in. There's a higher low and a higher high, so really positive. We're above 4,000. That is now in a daily uptrend, moving averages in the correct order. On the weekly, I'm basically waiting to see if we can break the high of this candle, because then we'll have a higher low and a higher high on the weekly, which is also very, very bullish. So first on the list is Bitcoin, and it's looking bullish, and it's in an uptrend. Second is Ethereum, again in an uptrend, higher low, higher high, really strong buying as we see the last couple of days, 9.2%, 9.3%. Let's hope for another 9% day to day to break above. Let's get up above these levels, and again, that will then lead us to having a weekly higher low and higher high. And I'm looking at the weekly as well a lot at the moment because it really needs to justify the continuation of this buying on the higher time frames. That helps. So just to build that bullishness back out. EOS yesterday, 21%, up today, 7%. Higher low, higher high, pull back, broke through this resistance. Again, looking very, very bullish. Cardano, again, higher low, higher high, looking bullish in that uptrend as well. Stellar Lumens is the one that's kind of lagging the most at the moment, just breaking through those highs of Friday now. It is technically in an uptrend, but it's pretty much the weakest of all the trends. IOTA in the top 10 currently, the only one down, but it's a higher low and a higher high. Just looking to see if I can get pullbacks on many of these pairs. That's why it's in there. They're all the same for me as far as what I'm waiting for. I'm waiting for pullbacks. I'm not acting until I get some form of pullback. But so far, everything in an uptrend. Ripple, higher low, higher high in an uptrend. Litecoin, higher low, higher high. Been in an uptrend for a little while now. And importantly, it closed above this 47.85 mark, which was some support and resistance in the past. Bitcoin Cash, again, in an uptrend, and Monero also just moving into an uptrend with a higher low and higher high here. So for me, looking across the entire top 10, it's more than just looking for a particular trade. It's also to get a bit of a feel for, the sentiment across the top 10, importantly, because that's where most of the market cap is. And across the board, now I've been watching that higher low, or the potential higher low that's now been confirmed. And every single token in the top 10 is technically in an uptrend right now. So that is good news. Let's hope it can follow through.
I might just go over the Bitcoin, Ethereum, Litecoin, and what I'm seeing. So this is a 4-hour heat chart, guys, and we're up to nearly 90 on the RSI. And so I think we are due for a little bit of a breather. If we zoom out to the daily chart, as we said, we're right in this sort of area now where it's going to make up its decision.
See your chart. Can you use your chart up?
It is for me. Hold on, I'll share it for you as well. There we go. Put this.
Beautiful.
You can see that now? Okay.
Yep.
So this is the cycle bracket that we were waiting on the other day as well. And I love when the rhythm of the market comes together. So we have a bit of an Adam and Eve on this weekly as well that we spoke about, with the sharp decline and then the gradual sort of curved bottom. And this is a rarer bottoming pattern. And depending on where you draw these lines, if you draw it with a slight angle, or if you want to just go for the horizontal, we're right at that level. Now, I think it's going to have to take some sort of breather here, because on the weekly, we've got a lot of overhead resistance. We're into the moving averages. But if we look at the RSI on every time frame, weekly, daily, 4-hour, there's no divergence yet. So it's all looking really strong. And Ethereum in particular now, it's got to that point where it's got to make up its mind, the 200-day moving average coming into play. And Litecoin obviously had this big move last week, so it hasn't had as bullish a move today. And right at this resistance, I think you had on your chart slightly closing above. I've got it right around there now. Either way, I think that everything is probably due for a pause in the next day or so. We might get one more little level up, but I think we really are due for that consolidation, and that is what is going to really interest me, Craig, when we see how healthy this consolidation is.
Sorry?
I was going to say, I'm really interested to see when we get this consolidation and people like yourself are looking for the cradle trades or the next entry, if you've sort of missed out on this one. If that's really healthy, we had the perfect recipe, I feel, a week or two ago of everyone calling for 1,000 and everyone had their theory on why it's going lows. Everyone was really, really bearish. And I'm not saying that now's the time to FOMO in, but it's good when you see a tussle of bulls versus bears versus everyone just being in consensus, I guess you could say. So I'm really looking at how healthy this consolidation is, or if it's just everyone loading up with their shorts and so on.
Well, I'm pretty keen to just see it continue. I'd prefer to not see a consolidation personally. I'd prefer to see it just pull back into that cradle zone and then continue. I'd love to see, if you have a look at the charts, we haven't seen many higher lows and higher highs on that daily time frame. We've seen them start and then they reverse, or they start and then they stop. Yeah. So it'd be really nice to see a third higher low and higher high come into this, and just really give people a little bit more confidence that it might be something that's going to last a little bit longer, as opposed to just a quick pump that we had seen. You look at the charts throughout last year and into the start of this year, we haven't seen any considered buying activity for quite a long time. So it'd be really nice to just get the trend traders, people like do what I do, going, okay, this trend seems to be continuing, and really start to build the positions to the long side, because traders want to have, they want to have trend in their favor more times than not, because, well, it's the probability of success is much higher. So we get that trend starting to come back. We'll probably see some more bulls start to re-enter the market, and people becoming a little bit more chirpy and friendly, perhaps.
So what do you think, how high can this go and still be just another dead cat bounce on that weekly or monthly time frame? So a lot of people saying, can this go to 5,000 and then just make new lows? What would you be looking at there?
I'm just going to throw the chart up because it's easier if I've actually got a tool to look at here.
Yeah.
Oops. So, well, that's a good question. Where can it go? I think that there's a little bit of clustering around 4,200 up, through here. It could, look, honestly, it could go all the way back up to 6,000. It could go back up to this support, these lows. It's just, how's it going to do it? Now, if a market move, look how fast it fell let's keep this in mind. Look at how fast it fell to get us down to this 32,200 level. All right. It happened very quick. Well, we know it can climb that quick too. It's not out of the question for us to be seeing $6,000 Bitcoin. I'm certainly not suggesting that that's a likely probability at this stage, because this is only the beginning of the uptrend. But it can. There's nothing it can't do. That there's no major resistance ahead right now. We've got convergence on the daily. The reason that I put emphasis on this level is because that will have, if we break it, a higher low and then a higher high on the weekly. And once we get that, well, yeah, I'll be looking at it thinking, well, we've got an uptrend on the weekly, and we're looking likely we might just continue on with this trend.
And if you
But it's still so early days right now. It's really hard to sort of suggest where it could get to at the moment. I'm happy if we're above 4,000 for the time being.
Yeah, and that weekly trend that you just spoke about, the level that's around 4,400, depending on what exchange you're on, that's when we get probably a good chunk of swing traders, trend traders. People say, right, okay, we've got a weekly higher low and a weekly higher high. They're going to start to trade. And all these people that think the traders bully the market lower and shorters have destroyed the market, guys, they're going to push the market back up in the next bull run, just as they've pushed the market down.
Yeah, exactly. The traders want to make money. They just go where it's easiest. Yep. And if you look at the monthly here, I mean, look, the monthly is overextended. It's not majorly overextended, nothing like what we saw through here. But look at that. That's pretty wild, isn't it? When you actually give it some perspective on the monthly.
Yeah.
You look at this, right? We've got room to get back to that 6,000 because that gets us back into those averages. So this monthly trend could continue. It could continue to the downside. But for it to really look strong bearish on the monthly, it kind of needs to get back up into here to really represent another opportunity for a leg down. And that's a $6,000 Bitcoin. We go from 4,000 to 6,000. It's going to be a much more difficult story, I think, to be saying I'm going to short at 6,000. I think it's going to 1. I think too much, as I've been saying. I'm saying the word think too much, but it's hard to do anything other than paint some potential scenarios, because it's such an early stage within this trend. But for the time being, I think everybody should just focus on what is right now. And if you know how to trade, then this presents opportunities. And the good thing is it's within the bigger markets. So you don't have as much slippage and you've got great liquidity. So it's a good time to be looking for your trades.
Yeah, and if you want to flip back to that monthly chart, that's probably all these long-term investors that are asking if now is a good time or not. We can still go up, as you say, almost to 6,000 and still just be, forming another low with a lower high and then turn back down. So it's nothing to get too excited about yet, but because we had 6 red months, and if we have a look at the weekly, I think there was 6 or 7 red weeks, we're so due just for some sort of relief rally as well. So it feels good. Everyone's happy when we get these big green days, but it's great to see some people showing up and the bulls starting to change that trend. So I'm just looking at any questions at the moment. Hoffman says Alex has no idea. Thanks for that, Hoffman. Thanks for your support. Always kind of puzzled when TA guys try to predict whale activity. I don't think it's trying to predict whale activity. I think, as you said, traders are there to make money. And if they can see the market is in a certain position and they can see there's too many leveraged longs, they know if they get it to a certain level, it'll liquidate people. So I don't think it's conspiratorial to talk about what whales want to do. I think it's just common sense. Any thoughts on that, Craig?
Oh, look, I don't really try and predict what anyone's doing. I just look at the charts. If there's a weekly higher low and higher high, then more people are going to see that. More people are going to think, okay, well, that's a bullish sign. Whether they're a good trader or not, just about everybody knows a trend reversal. They'll call it a double bottom. There's a million different names you can call it. But, all these people are seeing that it's a sign of a bullish market. As far as what the whales are doing, don't care, don't know. They're not going to tell you. And if they do tell you that, they might be just telling you something that makes you do something so they can do something. I just don't think it's worth me putting any attention to what others do. It's just about reading what's in front of me.
Do you want to have a look at the Neo chart again? Because I think this is a good fundamental technical where they've got the Neo DevCon on. There's been a lot of bad news lately, and then there's been some good podcasts come out and talking about the future direction of Neo. And I think this is one that fundamentally is going to have a bit more of a direction once this NeoCon is over. If they have a good roadmap and an updating their followers about how Neo is going to play out versus if they let them down and it breaks down. So I'd be interested to see what you think it's at from a directional, from a TA point of view.
Yeah, it's actually been pretty slow. I mean, it's pretty quiet at the moment. Let me just throw this into the watch list here and just show you. Look at Ethereum. Look at EOS. Look at Cardano. All of these markets, apart from Stellar, have moved pretty well, right? Pretty darn well. Look at Neo. It's not in that last big move that we've seen across many of these other markets. Neo's not really reacted too strongly to that. It's just, it looks a little bit tired. It looks a little bit, yeah, it looks a little bit snoozy. It wants to have a little nap, right? It is in an uptrend, high, low, high, high, pullback. There's a beautiful little pullback into the cradle zone and a nice move. If this is to pull back into here, sure, I'd be more than happy to look for opportunities to trade, but it certainly doesn't look as bullish as some of the other major players out there that are sort of in the same sort of league.
Yeah, yeah.
In my view, anyway.
Can you bring up ELA on your charts?
ELA.
Okay, no, that's right.
No. What's the top epic code?
Elastos. ELA. It might not be on that software. That's right.
No, it's not there.
It's all right. Someone saying Horizon State had that good announcement last night, getting the South Australian government on board.
Interesting what's going on in South Australia regarding blockchain technology at the moment. There's a big push for that, which is fantastic to see. They've got the biggest battery, the biggest solar farm.
Yeah.
They launched the largest hydrogen something or other. And they're also looking at blockchain and tech startup initiatives, which is very interesting indeed. It'd be good to see what comes of that. Innovative, very innovative at the moment, Adelaide.
Cool. Do you want to jump back to the chat room,
Yep.
Craig? Any final questions, guys? But as you say, South Australia and the Australian government have been seeking a lot of feedback, and we get to present to Treasury in a couple of weeks about how we can nurture innovation. And there's a lot happening in South Australia. Brisbane and World of Satoshi. I'm not sure if you've had a look on Twitter this morning, but you can integrate Lightning payments into Twitter now. So I did that last night. It was pretty easy, a couple of clicks. So Lightning, it's already in Twitter. It'd just be great to see Jack Dorsey sort of hard code that in so it's not something that's even optional, because I think someone like that getting behind Twitter last week was so awesome. Getting behind
Just
Bitcoin.
do the old pump it.
Any thoughts on, do you trade the traditional ASX at the moment at all, Cobb?
No, not the ASX, no.
Okay. I think
I've taken it's never really been a big market of focus for me. It's just not, there's not much liquidity when you compare. Like I can trade US equities, I can trade UK equities, I can trade whatever other equities I like.
Yeah.
Aussie ones just don't, like, unless you're trading within the top mega caps that are in Australia. It's just typically a little bit more gappy and difficult. I just never liked it as much as some of the other markets, but it's fine. It's just not a focus of mine.
Yeah, for people at home, when you look at stocks and options and you want to trade something on the ASX, as you say, it's the same as low cap altcoins. There's just no liquidity, and if you want to trade some options, the bid and the ask spread is just so wide. You're losing so much on slippage. So for me, Options House, E-Trade, trading the uranium ETFs, the gold, the GDX, all that stuff has been so much fun. I'd encourage you to get educated and learn about that as well. But
good as gold.
That's probably it for today, guys. I hope you enjoyed that little wrap up, and it's exciting times, and let's see how this unfolds with a bit of healthy consolidation, or if it's just going to pull back and keep marching higher.
Absolutely. It's an interesting time to be around, and if you are keen to learn more, we've actually got some free stuff. So if anyone's listening and they're thinking, well, how do I learn more? How do I find out more? You don't have to spend any money. I think it's free tools. So tradercobb.com/free tools. And all you got to do is go there. It's free. It's actually not going to cost you anything. So if you're considering learning a bit more, just do that. Something for you guys. So jump in and have a look at it if you like.
And I will talk to you guys again soon. Cheers.
Excellent. Thanks, guys. Appreciate your time. Thanks, Nugget.